Thank you for those who are coming back. Thank you to those who are new to the party. You are tuned in to another episode of Cake and Conversations. I am CiaraNirita. Let's get into the episode.
I'm writing a vision and making it plain. Don't think it's a game, and some of it just might be hard to obtain. I know it, but I don't care, cause I know deep in my brain I'm destined for greatness, and I would not get it if I keep on playing. So let me go get it.
Hello, good people. Okay, so today we have a Valentine's episode, I guess you can call it. So, of course, if you are someone like me who is single, you may be dreading the upcoming Hallmark holiday, Valentine's Day, which will be upon us in a few days. So, this episode will be released on February 11th. So, it is only like 3 days away. And you may be in a situation where you got coworkers getting ready to get gifts, all the ladies oohing and on. Matter of fact, it's since like I said, it's on Friday, so you very well a lot of people probably won't even be at work because it's Friday. Folks may gonna be will probably be taking the day off to just do the whole love thing, the whole Valentine's Day thing early, all of that thing. But fear not, oh single friend of mine. I do have some advice for you and how to get through this Valentine's Day. And not only single, because if you are not in the singles club, stick around because this you can get a couple nuggets out of this too. But this is just kind of a way, some nuggets, like I said, to get through the Valentine's Day. Yeah, so I mean, really, I don't have any advice that you have not heard before. So I really just like I love the idea of love. Actually, I am a hopeless romantic. I love the idea of love. Although I have not consistently been able to partake in the traditional Valentine's Day efforts. I do have, two daughters. I mentioned before I have two daughters, so I do Valentine's gifts for them, and then I have girlfriends that we do Galentine's Day, aka Side Chick Appreciation Day. So we do these things, and as I appreciate them as a single because some of my friends are married and so they do participate and love on us single friends as well. But I really don't have anything new. I'm sure if you are someone who is having a difficult time with Valentine's Day, you have probably heard everything that I could potentially say. So I don't want to repeat those same things necessarily because for me, I know when people just shoot me cliches or what seems to be cliches now, it going in one ear and out the other. So that's not really what I want to do. I do, however, want to talk about a couple things. So the first thing, there's this book called The Five Love Languages. Many people, y'all have probably heard of it. The author is Gary Chapman. I absolutely love this book, and since it was released, whenever it was many years ago, there has since he has since released, some additional books that are not necessarily about relationship love. It can be the love between a parent child, friends, coworkers. So there's so many different aspects to the book now, or different versions of the book now that touch different areas of your life. But the one that I am referring to is the traditional five love languages, which I recently retook the quiz. And it's a free quiz. You can take it online if you Google or put in a search engine. So, I'm not saying like whatever. So just put it in a search engine online and search free five love languages quiz or five love language quiz. It'll pop up. It's like a red, or it's not red, it's purple. It's like a purple five love language. You'll see it. short quiz. There's one for singles, for marrieds, for children, I believe, on the main page. So yeah, you can take any of those versions. If you're interested, definitely pick up the book. You can get it from, I'm sure, every library or, online and all those things. So the thing is, my scores of the five, my highest score was quality time, followed by acts of service, and then I tied for physical touch and words of affirmations, and then dead last coming in, bringing up the rear was receiving gifts for me. And it's funny because when I took the quiz many years ago, the my some of them were a little different, like the scores were a little different, which it makes sense when I think about the time. It makes sense, but it was just interesting. However, I also found myself in the process of answering the questions, and if you've never done it, this particular quiz, it's the questions are a either or type thing. So you'll get a scenario like, would you rather this or that, and you just pick which one you prefer, as far as showing love. So like I said, very easy quiz to take. It took me every bit, not even 10 minutes, honestly. Not even 10 minutes. You get your results instantaneously. So, yeah, check it out. But it's funny because I found myself, like, as I was going through the quiz, thinking, like, dang, that would be nice. Or I don't remember that happening, or like ever happening. Or I can't remember the last time that happened. And things like, playing through those things with every single scenario. Like I said, the quiz wasn't very long, but it was long enough for me to be like, dang, when was the last time I actually got a true, like, embrace hug, when I'm not like bawling crying at church or something like that. But like, when was the last time? So it's funny because we can go through life in general and not have these different type of experiences, like physical touch another loved one outside of, like, kids and things like that. um from your kids. Let me say that, outside of your kids. But you don't think about those and, like, dang, when was the last time that I received a gift from somebody, or somebody just told me that they loved me, and like, you think about those scenarios as you take this quiz. So that was very interesting to me. But I definitely would encourage everyone to do it, to take the quiz, to read the book. um like I said, I was very pleasantly surprised by my answers, but it also, when I think about it, it makes total sense. Um, Now, that being said, I really want to get into the love conversation. And as a single person, you almost feel like, right now, you almost feel bombarded with the amount of, like, Hallmark. I'm gonna call it Hallmark love, because Valentine's Day, Hallmark holiday, whatever. Hallmark love that's in the air this week. Not to discount love, because, like I said, I am a hopeless romantic. I love love, but it almost seems Hallmark like, if you will. And it's a constant reminder of, it could be a constant reminder of where you lack. But I encourage all of those that may not necessarily be feeling the love, or maybe feeling like everybody around you is so much more love than you are, that understand that it's not you. You are worth everything that you desire. I could give you, the potential, like I said earlier, I can give you the cliches that you tend to hear. But honestly, I know that they won't change anything unless you decide to change the way you view this time of year, and you view how you feel about, what's going on right now around you. First of all, let me just say, get off of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, any social media medium that's out there, that you may be, looking through, scrolling through, clicking through, whatever. Get off of it, because the thing is, it's not real. Some of those people are sending gifts to themselves. Some of those couples they've been beefing for days. Some of those relationships are crumbling at the seams. Some of those solid, A1s, those, down chicks and all, girlfriends, those number ones, all of them, they going out on February 15th, So my point is, everything that glitters ain't gold. Like, everything is not what it seems. Some people out here just really stunned for the gram. Like, they out here and making it seem as if they are like extremely happy. And dare I say, a lot of times it's not the truth. We only see a very small portion of people's lives on these grids and on these timelines. So we get the best of the best of what they have most of the time, and it's not necessarily true. And it's definitely not something we should be comparing ourselves to. So really, in this episode, I really just want to encourage those who may be having some difficulty right now, and let you know that it gets better. Like, this is not a permanent situation. It's not a death sentence. It's definitely not a curse. I don't know why I can't get my words out, but it can be a beautiful time, and but you have to embrace it as if it is. I remember some years back, I was feeling, oh, woe is me. I'm sure it was not Valentine's Day. It don't really take Valentine's Day for me to feel like that sometimes. But I was feeling real woe is me. I was comparing myself to the people around me, not people online, because I'm pretty solid on the thought that online life is not real life. So I don't really compare myself to those people, or the people that I see online. The people that I was comparing myself to were people, friends and family, people that are actually in my circle, the people that I actually knew and I saw, offline regularly. And I was just picking myself apart based off of ideas that I had created in my head. And those ideas were really not rooted in truth. And the saddest part, I knew that they were. I knew that they were not rooted in truth. I knew some of the struggles that these people that I was comparing myself to, both single and married, I knew who they were, so I knew what their struggles were. And it's so crazy now to think about it. But one day I literally had an aha moment, a moment when I was like, I'm tripping. Like, why am I comparing myself to that? Like, when I took off the blinders and I started to focus on the big picture and not the small frames that I had decided to look at people's lives through, when I took off the blinders, it reminded me that these people that I'm comparing myself to, many of them, I had no real desire to trade places with. Yes, there were aspects of their lives that I admired, but overall, I would not trade places with them. So really, I should not have been comparing myself with them. Not even, and that's not to say compare yourself to people you would trade places with, because you shouldn't do that either. But in this particular scenario, these were definitely not people that I should have been comparing myself to. That moment put things back into perspective for me. That aha moment put them back where they needed to be. And I often think about that time when, because every once in a while I can end up breaking out into this little personal pity party, but I bring myself back to that moment, that aha moment, and I remember, don't compare myself to people or anybody, like not people that I know, not people online, just anybody, celebrities, nobody. I should not be comparing myself to any of these people. I mean, think about it. What is it that you tend to compare to others? When you think about yourself and the things that you compare, what are those things that you are comparing to other people? Typically, it's things that we have some type of insecurity or doubt or fear about within ourselves. Typically, it's an area where we feel like we are coming up short. And honestly, my prayer is that everyone that has those moments of comparison, you remove those blinders. You remove those blinders that are taking off the peripheral and having you laser focused on certain parts of other people's lives, and have you a personal aha moment and realize just how dope you really are. Realize how great you are and how much you have to offer. And even though it's way easier said than done. Like I know for a fact that it is so much easier said than done. But remember that your time is coming, whatever that may be. Everybody ain't meant to be. I know I'm talking. I started off talking about love and relationship and things like that. Everybody ain't meant to be married. Everybody ain't meant to be booed up. So whatever that time is, whatever it is that you're laser focused on somebody else, whether it's a career, whether it's, a relationship, whether it's, financial goals, their, babes, children, because some ladies have not had children yet, and you looking at other people like, man, I wish it was me. Like, whatever it is, take your blinders off and don't focus on that little aspect of that person's life, because you're not getting the full picture. And like I said, it's easier said than done, but use this time and use this grooming season. That's what I'm going to call it. Use this as a time to focus on you and growing, and focus on your most important relationship. And for me, that relationship is with God. That relationship is one that no matter what has always been consistent, has always been a relationship that I can rely on. God has always been, there through it all. So I would encourage you to, not focus on where you may lack. Focus on the things that you have. We have so much, and unfortunately, and I've been guilty of this too, unfortunately, we tend to focus on the things that we don't have, or the areas that we feel like we lack in. When if you think about it, are you really lacking? Or is it just not your time yet? Or is it just something that, may not necessarily be good for you? Because I know for me, there's been many a times where I've really, really, really wanted something, really, really wanted it. But then after not receiving it, and hindsight 2020, when I look back and I think about it, and it's like, yeah, I really wanted it. I really did. But I either was not ready to receive it, or I really did not need it. Like, it was not for me. It was something that was not going to cause me to move forward in a positive way. So, I hope this one is kind of a shorter one. It's not very long, but I really wanted this episode to be an encouragement for everybody that may be hyper focused on somebody else's achievements, somebody else's goals, somebody else's love life, somebody else's children, somebody else's finances. If you are hyper focused on anything that belongs to somebody else, that is not what your focus should be on. Because right now you have something that nobody else has. You have all the things that are in you, all of your history, all of the blessings that are in you, all of your gifts and talents. Those are yours. Those are the things that you need to be focused on. Those are the things that you need to be cultivating and enriching and building upon. And if you have things and goals that you want to accomplish, if you are comparing yourself to, online models and online fitness gurus and all those things, and you are sitting here listening and you eating a bag of chips, like there are things that we can do to make ourselves better in the areas that we want to improve, but we have to be willing to move forward. We have to be willing to take the needed steps that's required to get us to where we want to be. We can't sit around, have a pity party, and then wonder why we haven't moved forward. Well, it's because we haven't taken a step. You have to take the step forward in order to move forward. So again, take the blinders off and don't compare yourself to anybody else. Those areas that you may find yourself comparing yourself to other people. Examine yourself and find out why. Why am I comparing my my situation to this person's? Do I truly know what this person's situation is, and would I actually trade places with them? Even if you know these people personally, if they are the, a couple from church, or, people from work that talk about their loved ones all the time. Like, even if you feel like you have a good grasp on what these people may have that you feel like you're lacking in, you do not know. We do not know what happens behind closed doors. We do not know what happens inside of cars. Like, you just don't know. You don't know where people, what people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. We only know a small percentage of what they decide they want to share. And most of the time, people are not sharing the grimy, ugly parts of whatever it is that you're comparing yourself to. So, like I said, I hope this was an encouragement to those who may be struggling, not only this week for Valentine's Day, but just in general. Like, you know, just if ain't nobody else told you, know that I love you, and you got this. You got this. Whatever it is that you want to achieve, just go out there and grab it. The time is now. The time is yours. Tomorrow is definitely not promised. So we can't take time for granted. We absolutely can't. Everybody out here knows that recently, um amazing athlete Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and several other people lost their lives. Now, when they got up that morning, I'm sure they didn't um I mean, think about it. How many people compare themselves to Kobe? If you're an athlete, or if you're not, if whatever it is, there's so many people, millions of people that compare themselves to him. He had 41 years on this earth. And he said he did some amazing things. He was definitely a great in his craft. He loved his children, his wife. He was definitely, like I said, dominating on when he went before he retired on the basketball court. He was dominating, and even after his retirement, he still was at the top of the charts, if you will. So, but he had 41 years. 41. That's not a lot of time. So do you think that, Kobe, when his success was based off of what he put in? What are you putting into your life that can generate the type of success that you want to do? If you had, and I realize, many people are past the age of 41. I do. But think about it. If you had, let me see, I'm 36 today. And so that means 5 years. In 5 years, I will be 41. So if you had 5 years, you know, like I said, tomorrow is not promised. And I hate to be morbid, I really do. But think about it. If you had 5 years left, what are the things that you want to focus on to make sure that your legacy is secured, to make sure that the things that you truly need to focus on are being focused on, the loves that you truly need to be put out there are being put out there. We tend to focus so long on the things that don't matter. I've done it. I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of trying to focus so much on the future that the right now just passed me by. Don't allow that time. Don't allow that to happen. Don't allow the right now to pass you by because you're so busy comparing yourselves to the snapshot of others. So again, I really hope that this encouraged somebody. If you are struggling at any time, like I said, not only during this time of Valentine's Day, just in general, if you are struggling with anything, reach out to somebody, send me a message, feel free. Send me a message on any of my social media platforms, on my website, The Legacy Arena, on whatever platform you are listening to this podcast on. Feel free, send me a voice message, send me a inbox or DM or whatever you want to do. Reach out. I am more than willing to converse with anybody that is struggling, and get pointers, give pointers, whatever it is. I am one of those people who, like, I want to see everybody winning. It's enough space out here for everybody to win in whatever their field is, whatever their craft is. So again, if nobody told you today that they love you, know that I love you, and you are going to do amazing things. Just step out on faith, move forward. All right, people. Um, Hopefully you enjoyed this episode on, which started off on love, kind of ended in, self-love. Let's say that. It ended on love, but it ended with self-love. So I really hope that you enjoyed it. I do really, really appreciate you tuning in with me, and whatever it is, have a good day, have a good evening, whatever time that you're actually listening to this podcast. I do really appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon.